Good afternoon. It's a beautiful summer day in the park, July 25th. And we got some nice little plants here. This looks like what could be a prairie rose. I'm not 100% sure, or at least 80% sure. This over here is a Ruthenian globe thistle. There's a bumblebee on it. Look at that beautiful plant. You can tell it's a thistle because of the those very pointed leaves. Got a couple of hostas with the flowers fading off. It looks like an oriental lily. And here we have some young coxcomb. These plants end up growing these feathery flowers, which kind of look like Dr. Seuss flowers, what I like to call them. There's a couple of them. I think we got one blooming right here. Now, they're native to India, not the U.S. These are clearly been transplanted here, or planted here. They don't grow in this type of climate, but they'll grow in the summer. A couple of globe thistles this way. They look really cool. We got a nice larch. Squirrel climbing up the larch. A lot of pigeons out today. Let's take a look at the local community garden. See what we got growing here. Got a couple of sunflowers. Ah, look at that one. That's gorgeous. Yeah, they're just starting to bloom. They're getting later in the summer. Looks like some cucumbers over here. I believe that's kale. A couple of tomato plants. A lot of tomatoes. Look at those suckers. Looks like pumpkin over here, or squash. Beautiful. Look at those green little guys. Got some pepper growing over here. It's a nice honey locust tree. Little tiny tomatoes. Over here we've got some more roses. Lovely color to the garden. Got some nice cone flowers. Got a little burdock coming out of the ground here. I love how you can just find burdock all over the place. Okay. Temperature's pretty nice out. Almost feels fall-like. This morning it was in the low 50s. I mean upper 50s, sorry. By the time I got out to go to work, it was in the low 60s. Probably about mid 70s right now, so it'll get hot again, but for now it's, a little break from the heat because it's been a pretty hot summer. It's funny because we had such a cold spring. So I guess I don't mind a hot summer as long as we have a nice fall. We got a ton of Virginia creeper out here, just creeping along. Nice Austrian pine. I don't know exactly what these are. They kind of look like brown-eyed Susans, some type of cornflower. They're blooming all around the lake. The pond. There's a lot of duck potato down there. A lot of algae and friggin' sandals and everything. We're gonna head back into the garden and see what's in style this time of year. Looks like white is the color of the summer. Another big bumblebee. Beautiful plants here. Look at these ones. These are pretty. This looks like it could be fall phlox, but I'm not sure. These are definitely milkweed. Well, these are called impatiens, according to that sign. Look at these lilies here. Daylilies and the like. Apparently these are called butter daisy. They're quite cute. It's a little grove of primarily honey locust tree. Or maybe an American elm, I'm not sure. Let's see what's around the house. Well, this here is greater plantain. And a few weeks ago, I saw some really large greater plantain. It almost looked tropical. Some burdock alongside the house. Austrian pines and Austin. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's kind of shady. Not sure what these are. This is a pretty plant though. A lot of black-eyed Susans. There's a variety of hosta over here. Now look at those. Wow, look at that hosta. There's a lot of hosta out here. And this is a, I believe this is a, it's a crab apple. I believe the sugar time crab apple. And look how many little crabs are, sorry, how little apples are coming out. That's amazing. They're too bitter to eat, but they're pretty. Ooh, something's up in there. Full of daylilies and hostas. Some type of ivy. A lot of burdock on this side. A ton of burdock. Let's head out around the lake. There's a tree that oh wait. Take a look at this black squirrel. What a cute little guy. Don't be a jerk. Scare him off. There's a bunch of animals having a party over here. That tree over there, I believe, is a basswood. This here, this cool brown looking thing, is water dock. So water dock is not just where you put your boat. We got another larch. I was just up in Canada a week ago, and I noticed there's a lot of tamarack trees where I was driving through. And look, this is, I believe, eastern larch. It says it down there. Tamaracks and larches are related, and they're like a deciduous conifer tree. Most conifers are, of course, evergreen, but not larches, tamaracks, or bog cypresses for that matter. Walking by a weeping willow now, a beautiful tree, especially for having like a waterfront kind of setting. They just complement lakes and ponds so well. And this gotta be a basswood. Huge tree, 6-7 leaves. It says a river birch. I went over it before when I was over by Lake Nokomis, but the bark is the primary way to tell that it's a river birch. I believe it's another basswood tree. Look at the leaves of that burdock. It's bigger than my dog. There's some young burdock over here. And that's a huge one. Looks like the rain washed away my sidewalk chalk line. No, my whale's still here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I drew that whale like a couple weeks ago almost. I'm surprised it's still there. It hasn't rained much, but it's we've had a couple rainy days. That must be some sturdy chalk. And this is a beautiful silver maple. Huge spread here. Gorgeous tree. There's another silver maple. And it looks like a honey locust over there. This here is frost grape. It actually is a type of grape. You could make wine from it, but it's not easy. It's not the best type of grape. I mean, grapes thrive in Mediterranean climates, but they can grow up here in the upper Midwest. We got what I believe is blue verbena. Ain't that something? Look at that spread. Look at the curls on that vine. I'm not entirely sure of what type of maple this is. It almost looks like it's starting to get fall foliage, even though it's the middle of summer. But it's just got really light yellowy leaves. I believe it is a silver maple though. Another nice maple here. Let's see what kind it is. I think it's also a silver maple, maybe. Maybe not, I don't know. It's got like the sugar maple shape, like the trunks, but the leaves don't really look sugar maple-y. They look a little silver maple-y. I don't know, it's got beautiful smooth bark though. Another nice larch. Got very, very thin, like feathery needles. Spider web over the pond. There's a bottle just floating around. That's great. Okay, now this tree, or this species of tree, I should say, I asked on what it could be. I wondered, and I finally found out. It's I think it's called a Japanese lilac tree. It's got beautifully smooth leaves and a very gorgeous traditional style trunk and branches. I could see the Japanese in it though. You know, Asia is known for, I mean, this is obviously a stereotype, but like very characteristic branches. And this one's definitely got some. Look at that. Look at the way that these branches twist though. Now, some people complain a lot about non-native and invasive trees and plants, and I get it, depending on the ecosystem. But when it comes to like a city, I don't see what the big deal is, because you really think this is native? You think these buildings are just native? It's all made by us. So I think it's okay to use a little foreign landscaping, as long as you don't like let it overcome the wilderness, at least. But there is something to be said about being able to see trees from different continents and countries, and you know the true nativeness of a tree is defined by climate, not political borders, not geographical features necessarily, but by climate. So if these trees can survive this climate and are not threatening, you know, obviously if they're threatening native species, it's different, but if they're not, which most of them aren't, I don't see what the big deal is. Speaking of native trees though, and trees in general, this is the northern catalpa, which is my favorite species of tree. Now this one's a juvenile, but it already has massive heart-shaped leaves. Looks almost tropical-like. It's easy to identify because of its long, thin green, or in the summer they're green, bean pods. And really, I just used your last poop bag, you asshole. Well, I'm literally resorting to using dried up catalpa leaves from the ground to scoop up his poop, because I'm out of poop bags. So I guess I'm going to end this video now. Have a great day.